Welcome back to the stock portfolio update videos. Currently, my two stock portfolios sit at just under $72,500. That's made up of the nearly 45,000 AUD in my stake portfolio and then 27,517 in my Vanguard portfolio. This is my first portfolio update video I've done in around over a month, so today I'm going to be going through how things were going whilst I was away and my plans going forward, and I just recently invested nearly $3,000 into my stake portfolio as well, so more on that. First of all, having a look through my stake portfolio, the two recent additions I did were into Microsoft and VOO, my two biggest holdings. If you have a look, VOO is by far my biggest, and the market value is over $14,000 currently. This is all USD, and I'm currently up around 23%. Keep in mind, I've been dollar cost averaging in for a long time now, so that's why my returns are a little bit less than in other positions. But the market has been quite good this year, up nearly 20%, and over the last 5 years is up around 80%. So it's been good to invest in the S&P. Even down through these times in 2022, I was consistently investing more money, and this past year has been good as everything has rebounded and I've reaped the rewards. Having a look and going through first, Microsoft was the individual stock I decided to invest in. I invested around $1,000 USD into Microsoft, and whilst it's already had a good year, up around 26%, it is my biggest holding and is my biggest individual stock position across both portfolios. The other three bigger than it are all ETFs. I'm currently up after the purchase around 35%, and I was up previously around 45%, but obviously increasing my position by a big chunk is going to bring that down. My total equity is close to 5,800 at the moment, and I have around 13.5 shares. My average share price is $314, which is still a lot off the $425 it trades at now. The reason why I decided to invest in Microsoft is, as you can see, whilst it has had a good year, it's not that up much in the last 6 months, only 5%, and in the last month alone is down 6.5%. It's had a bit of a pullback after people step back away from the AI craze, and things have kind of cooled down for the Magnificent Seven. And as someone who invests in a fair few tech stocks in my positions, this is probably my favorite company of them all. I believe Microsoft has such a strong business model, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. I believe I can invest in it now, and then 5 years from now come back and look, and Microsoft will still be printing money, they'll still be in a strong position, and be one of the biggest companies in the world. And that's why I invest in Microsoft as my biggest individual holding. VOO, on the other hand, the reason why I decided to invest in VOO is my goal is to keep this around 50% of my stake portfolio valuation. Currently, like I said, it's sitting at around 14,000, and it's sitting at around 48% of my stock portfolio, and I have 28 shares in it. I'm up around $2,600, and my average share price is just over $400 a share. What this means is, as this has slowly been growing, and whilst my portfolio is heavily weighted towards tech, this hopefully gives me a bit more diversification into other companies as well. And as I grow this position and reinvest all my dividends as an example continue to grow and get bigger and bigger, and I got my largest ever dividend for my stake portfolio last month into this account. Looking at the rest of my holdings, I was considering putting more money into Amazon or Google, as they are the other two tech positions that I was looking at investing in other than Microsoft. I decided to go with Microsoft because it's my personal strongest bet out of all my tech positions, so I wanted to put my money where I believed it would be best, but if I did put in either of the others, I wouldn't have been disappointed either. Costco is another position that I looked at investing my money into again, but the price has shot up so much recently, and I'm up around 65% currently, and I only have 2 shares. I'm sitting at around $1,700 in equity, and whilst I think it is a great company, and like Microsoft, it's one of my strongest holdings, it's hard to justify the prices at the moment when I was previously dollar cost averaging under $500 a share, and it's now trading nearly $817. Looking through the rest of my portfolio, I obviously have seen everything in the green except McDonald's. This was a stock I bought in, and it went up actually 13% in the short time I had it. You can see this run up here, and it has slowly traded down over an extended period of time. And if this was a position I really believed in, this is when I would be buying into it. But I don't know what I'm going to do with this, and I'll probably report on it in future videos whether I decide to hold or sell. Going through my Vanguard portfolio, you can see that's sitting at around 27,500, and I did get some big dividends recently as well, from both VLC and VGS. My goal was to build these up to be 50-50% portfolio weighted each, and I've done that now, and I plan to get this to 30,000 hopefully in a month's time, because I did invest 3,000 to my stake portfolio, so I'm going to invest another 3,000 roughly, or 2,500 into my Vanguard portfolio in the future, so I can get that up to 30 grand and hit another milestone. With the two portfolios, they're nearly weighted now at $75,000 in equity, which is a big goal for me, as someone who's heard a lot as I've been investing that hitting the first 100,000 is the biggest landmark, and after that it hopefully gets a little bit easier. What that means is all your dividend payments will also get bigger. It will hopefully also be easier for the compound interest to grow as well, and I'll just keep tracking and doing these videos because I've been doing them since the portfolio was sitting at around $13,000, so it's been a good journey since $60,000 up through investment gains and investments, deposits. So I'm just going to keep tracking it and speak on how they have been going. Having a look at the Excel spreadsheet, you can see it a little bit better, how things are priced and how they're weighted. So like I said, my Australian portfolio is pretty straightforward. It's pretty much 50-50, and I plan to keep it that way hopefully soon. And my American portfolio is a bit more diversified, and the only thing is I need to get VOA up to 50%. You can see Microsoft is sitting at 20% now, so it's probably a little too heavily weighted. But if it's going to be one of my stocks, I'm happy it's Microsoft. You can also see these two graphs, which tracks my portfolio growth for both the portfolios. And you can see how good this has been, slowly trading up over an extended period of time. And it's been good to track these videos because sometimes it feels like you're just putting money in and you don't really see the gains. But when you actually graph it and you keep track every single month, you can kind of see your hard work going towards a good cause. So this is good for me. And when you look at the dividends as well, my dividends have been growing month on month, or quarter on quarter pretty much. You can see last quarter I got my biggest ever dividends from my Vanguard account, which was $281. And even in my stake portfolio, the dividends have been pretty consistent and they've been growing as well. So overall, I'm going to get close to that 1,000. I think I'm over $1,000, 1,500 in dividends already. Going through some quick news as well. One of my biggest positions, Google, recently looked to acquire Wiz, which is a security company, cloud security, and they walked away from a $23 billion deal, which I believe is double the valuation that Wiz currently sits at based on its last round of funding. Wiz has walked away from a $23 billion deal to be bought by Google. That would have been a search giant's largest ever acquisition. Saying no to such a humbling offer is tough, is what the CEO said. But it seems like they believe they can grow and kind of outgrow that valuation on their own. Worst case scenario, they could probably IPO in another year, but I think it seems like a good idea for Wiz. It would have been good for Google to acquire them, especially with how cloud security seems to be a growing industry, but it wasn't meant to be, and it would have probably been held up by a lot of regulators as well since it's such a large M&A deal. The other news I wanted to go through as well was Microsoft. Everyone would have seen this whether they were at work or traveling. Whilst I was traveling, it actually shut a lot of the flights, and that was their blue screen of death, as people refer to it. They're going to be changing it and updating it. And as someone who was flying, you don't realize how much places are reliant on Microsoft servers. So this will be good just to look at something different next time it crashes. But that was just a quick update on the portfolios. Again, hopefully in the next video, we'll be getting closer to that $75,000 mark, and I'll do a video updating when I do that. Hit that then. Cheers.